What is up, Scrub fam? Pat here, back with another video, another deck profile. This one is again going to be another really casual brew for Series 10. You can play at your locals for fun. This one is a little bit more personal to me. It was issued to me as a challenge by Richard Zapp, which he seems to love giving me deck building challenges lately. And that is largely because of the significance of today, because for those of you guys who do not know, today is Sonic the Hedgehog's 29th birthday, and you know, as a kid growing up, he was basically my favorite video game character until I played Final Fantasy VII. He's probably still in my top 3 favorite games, video game characters of all time. As a wonderful bit of trivia for you guys, if you guys have ever met me at any of the events, obviously COVID doesn't allow that right now, but any of the previous events, you'll probably notice that I wear red sneakers all the time, and half the reason that I wear red sneakers is as a kid, I always wanted Sonic shoes, but they never were really available. Red was not a common color that you could get your shoes in outside of like red accents from like Air Jordans. So as an adult, being the super nerd that I am, I basically only committed to red sneakers because I couldn't have them in my youth. So there you go. You guys can laugh at me, but you're probably wondering, wait, so how does Sonic make a deck building challenge? Well, in malicious machinations, Richard Zapp and I jokingly called the SS4 and Pan leader, the Gotta Go Fast leader. He's Sonic the Hedgehog because of 1, his spiky hair, and 2, he actually has to win the game really quickly because you'll notice he's super aggressive, kills himself really fast, but he can do a lot of damage in a very short amount of time. So that leader never really saw any play. So for Sonic's birthday, Zapp basically challenged me to try to build a Hedgehog themed deck here. And try to win quickly at all costs, which if you guys know anything about Sonic, he is about getting it done quickly. So yeah, here you go, guys. Before we jump into the deck profile, as always, shoutouts to Alec the Man Pastrana over at beardedcollectibles.com. Make sure you guys hit him up for all of your sealed product needs. So let's just jump into the deck profile. So we're playing Son Goku and Pan. If you guys don't remember what this leader does, I don't blame you. It's like nobody plays this leader. It has an activate main to add 2 cards to your life, and if you do, to your hand, and if you do, it gives something double strike, which that ability is what we're going to leverage for most of this deck that you see. At 2 or less life, you draw 2 cards and then untap 2, and on the backside, it has double strike, and you can take one of your life and restand him. So basically, you can take yourself from 2 to 1 life to basically try and get 2 more damage in. So since the leader can burst 4 on the back really quickly, and the front using dual attackers basically allows us to burst 7 damage in the first 2 turns of the game, if we so choose, depending on how aggressive our opponent is at us. So that feels right in line with Sonic the Hedgehog. So let's just jump right into the deck profile. You'll notice there is a U6 theme, and we'll talk about the cards one at a time and kind of explain why. Awakening Talent Pan. This is largely because we are blue. We could have used Vegeta, but I feel like Pan is reusable because it bounces back to hand. If we had used Vegeta, Savior of the Future, it could potentially get popped, and also giving something double strike that already has double strike is really redundant. I just feel like Pan is better in the slot, so that's why she is one of our ways to make sure that we can kind of hit our 2 life as fast as possible, as well as dish out some pretty good damage on turn 1. Kale, Timid Sister. This is largely only in here for 2 reasons. 1, Kale the Awakened Sister is amazing with the front side leader ability, and 2, it's obviously a fusion piece for Brilliant Pairing Kefla. Next up, Whis' Coercion. It's probably the best negate we can play. We're mostly charging blue in this deck, but not always. Sensu Bean extends plays. We're trying to win the game like turn 2, turn 3 tops. Like this deck has no longevity outside of the Whis' Coercion, so it helps us just extend plays when we need them. Caulifla the Bold Sister. This originally was in the deck because it was a way for us to find Goku and hit down here in the lower left. On turn 1, if we just didn't have it in our opening hand, that then led us to the realization that since it's U6, the next obvious thing to play would be Caulifla the Awakened Sister in order to be an evolved target. And then Brilliant Pairing Kefla is really good with the leader, so you start to see all the little synergies that Caulifla the Bold Sister has. So that lets us play that. Zamasu Sacred Disbelief, we're not a mid-range or control strat. I know this super combo feels out of place, but we have 8 blue and yellow arrival cards, so that's pretty much its primary function. It's just a single card that lets us arrival something on turn 1. We have 2 turn 1 arrival plays. We basically always want to try and arrival one of the 2 of them. So having Zamasu in your opener is definitely something that I welcome. It also is, again, a super combo. Any super combo would help us push damage through on the leader is worthwhile in my opinion. Next up is Grade 8 Son Goku Saiyan Instincts. Honestly, you don't even really need this card in this deck. I just threw it in here because it was probably the best 0-5K yellow card I could think of that would help us fulfill arrival conditions. Honestly, this could be any yellow card. I'm sure that there's actually better cards than this card in the deck. So yeah, this is definitely worth it. FDC, this is just another way to help us close out the game. There are a lot of single strikers still in this deck. And if you just have the energy extension and you have no other way to get damage, whether you're on the backside and you can no longer use the double strike granting ability, this is another way to close games. Pan Grade 8 Whisper should be obvious. This was originally designed for this leader. It's just a free 15k attacker that lets us restand things like Caulifla the Awakened Sister or Goku Hit or Kefla. It just does a lot. It's just letting us push through damage, and it's a free battle card for the most part, so of course you are going to play it. We already talked about Kale and her obvious synergy with having critical and giving a double strike, so this is a pretty solid turn 2 play if you have nothing else to do. And then obviously Brilliant Pairing Kefla. Dual attack is insane with this leader. You can get Kefla into play on turn 2, and then obviously Goku Hit you can get into play on as early as turn 1. So going second, you can either try to arrival your Goku and Hit either defensively or offensively and go for some damage, or you can arrival defensively the Champ of Autos, which will then let you go obviously for a 1-drop Kale, a 1-drop Caulifla, both of their evolutions, as well as Brilliant Pairing Kefla, and then give that Kefla double strike. So there's a lot of like power that you can do with an optimal hand in this deck very early on. Kefla and Hit are basically the workhorses of the deck. They just let you get in cheap damage really quickly. Champ of Vados is here for the obvious ability to just spam out extra attackers on top of your 1-drops. You're just juicing your 1-drops up to be 20k crits and double strikers. And then obviously it's a relevant body itself. And then, as often forgotten, you get the free combo power. This lets you use all of those extra Keflas, Kales, and Cauliflas in your hand that are just bogging you down to push through on your leader for big damage. You can very easily get your leader up to 50-60k on turn 2, which makes it very difficult for your opponent to block. Already talked about at length Goku and Hit, and then Caulifla is just obviously to lock down energy, and it's just a relevant body. So there you go, guys. A really cheap deck overall, and I think I priced it out last night. If you take out the Saiyan Instincts, whole deck's maybe $60, $70. So not a bad deck, and I know a lot of people really like Universe 6 and are looking for ways to dust off their Universe 6 collection and just play some of their favorite cards from the previous set. So not too long of a deck profile and not too complicated of a deck profile, and honestly, it's one of the shorter ones we've ever done. As always, guys, if you enjoyed it, consider subscribing, liking, commenting. Let me know who your favorite game characters were from when you were a kid, game characters you still love. I'd love to hear from you guys about things other than just Dragon Ball. If you guys want me to do other theme decks just for fun, like you want me to do I don't know, a Super Mario theme deck or something like that, I would love to take a crack at it. These fun deck building challenges, honestly, are really interesting and really get the creative juices flowing. Again, not the most competitive deck, but at least it's fast and it's fun, and that's what counts, guys. Until next time, peace.